So I'm 19 years old. I just transferred from Tehachapi State Prison to Chino Central. Now, I already heard rumors about Chino. It's 1994 and the prison system is completely different than it is today. Chino was built in 1941. It's one of the oldest prisons in California. When I landed there, Chino was a parole violator intake center. It was also a stop for anyone who was going out to court in Southern California. Like if you picked up a new charge and you had to go to court and you were housed in a prison throughout the state, they take you to Chino, and then you go to court, come back to Chino, and go back to the prison that you were originally at. But I ended up in Sycamore. There's two sides to the building. Each side has 3 tiers. The cells are they're small, so you figure if you're in the newer reception centers, you probably have about 5 foot more room than you would in Chino, because this is one of the older prisons. But at 19, this place felt fucking off. Prison politics were heavy in the 90s, especially in Chino, because Palm Hall was there. And anybody in power, validated or not, that's exactly where they were. So it was a dangerous place. If you've seen the movie American Me, you'll know what I mean. That's where Cheyenne was blasted and thrown off the 3rd tier. But lots of inmates lost their lives in Chino. I've seen 3 myself. When you're in a prison like Chino or Pelican Bay, the air feels foul. I can't even explain it. But you could feel the tension, the uncertainty, in the air. I mean, you're surrounded by some of the most violent people on the planet. Anything can happen, anytime. I'm not a religious person. Sure, when I was in and out of juvenile facilities in Florida, I read the Bible, but I always felt it was misinterpreted. But that's another story. I'm not going to get into that right now. By now, I'd been in Sycamore for about a week. Chino's routine is pretty simple. Locked down most of the time except for meals, or except for rec if you're lucky. 9 p.m., lights out, it's quiet time. That's not a rule set by the COs, that's set by us inmates. I remember I couldn't sleep one night, and I was stressed about court. I knew I was getting more time. It was a pretty serious case that I was looking at. So I laid there in bed thinking, like I always do. I'm institutionalized already. Prison didn't really affect me that much. I've been in the system since I was 12. But that night was different. I felt something I'd never felt before. Like I said, the air always felt foul. But this was different. It felt evil. And I've never felt anything like it. Like it literally made my skin crawl. The hairs on my arms stood up. And I'm not speaking metaphorically. They literally stood up. It was a presence. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And it was staring right at me. I was pretty fucking scared. And that's not like me. I mean, I'm not really scared of anything, not even death. But this was different. It felt like pure evil. Picture torture with no pain. Like all the evil in the universe was condensed into one invisible force. Whatever it was there for me. It was looking for weakness. It wanted to get in. And I've had experiences like this before. When I was in the 2nd grade, I felt something calling me. But that was different. As a kid, I'd drive past Chino on the 71 freeway, and I'd see the signs for California Institution for Men. It was like the place was calling me. I didn't know, why, but something deep inside me told me I'd end up there one day. The presence wouldn't leave, though. It hovered. It was right there. It hovered over me. I didn't want to wake my cellie because he was out, and he's gonna be like, "What the fuck, homie? You're being weird." So I just laid there, waiting for it to go away, but it didn't. I could feel it staring at me, like I was frozen on the top bunk. Finally, I just couldn't take it anymore, And I jumped down and got on my knees and I fucking prayed. Like I said, I'm not religious, but I had to try something because this shit was fucking me up. But it worked after 5 minutes of praying, because that's about how long I was on my knees, because this feeling was fucking nasty. The presence was gone. But here's the question. Was it the prayer? Or was it because I refused to let it in? Or did I let it in? Because for the next 15 years of my life, it was all violence and incarceration. I think that presence was just making its rounds, feeding off pain and suffering, like the prison itself was alive. Now, here's the crazy part. This was in March of 1994. I got back from court to Chino on July 15th, 1994. I was housed in Madrone this time, so it's across the hall from Sycamore. It's different. Like, Madrone has cells on each side, but you could see the cells, and they had doors on them. They didn't have bars like Sycamore, but it was right across the street. And on July 29th, 1994, the CO corrections officer, Gonzo, he was killed on the same tier I was where I felt that presence. So what was it? I mean, I don't really know, but if I was to guess, it was death. It was death. Roaming the prison, waiting, feeding on broken souls, collecting victims. I don't know. That seems the logical explanation to me. I'm just thankful it wasn't me that it got. And I'm still here with my family today. But in closing, I just want to say this. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. We're only able to see what's necessary for survival. But we feel everything. Like, you could feel everything. If there's something bad, you have, and we're built that way, we have a gut instinct, and you should always trust your gut. I'm Mr. Casper. This is the American Youth Show. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I have a lot more stories for you.